So change is inevitable in any form of business environment. So as a founder and a leader, you'll need to navigate various changes, whether they involve shifts in strategy or organizational structure or technology adoption or so on. We came up with the idea that there is at the moment no game for children to address unconscious bias, because there's colorful Lego or colorful Barbies, but there is no game which has a learning effect. If you're interested to join, let me know. And keep in mind, we can only solve the cognitive puzzle of the society together.
Hello and welcome back here at feelingTERrific. Today I have another very special guest with me, an interesting personality, because she founded her company with another person. So she's a co-founder and currently also the managing director, if I'm not mistaken. And we will discover her intrinsic motivation behind, and let's see what the power of intrinsic motivation can be. But I don't want to take that much away. Maybe over to you, Anja. Tell us who you are.
Yeah, thank you, Christian. First of all, thanks for inviting me. Who am I? I'm Anja.
The best question for the beginning.
Best question. Philosophical. So, I'm Anja. I'm a senior consultant at Cyan. That's part of C3, where we create resilient organizations. So, meaning that we develop structures, processes, tools that are effective and adaptable to deal with the complexity in communication and marketing. I am responsible for people and culture design, meaning a resilient organization needs to focus on the people who are working with it. Otherwise, a change can't succeed sustainably. So, for example, I implement strategies for employer branding, HR, and change. Just to mention a few topics. And in my free time, like you just introduced, I'm a co-founder and managing director of Occtopus. And what we do at Occtopus, we develop games for children to reduce an unconscious bias and at the same time involve the parents in the whole game. Yeah, we are about to launch the beta version as MVP of the app in the beginning of September. So, yeah, almost there.
Yeah, so the good thing is this conversation will be published in September, so after the launch. So we can also put the link then also in the description. So that's also great. But maybe before we are jumping into Occtopus and all the different perspectives and facets, right? I'm wondering, so you just mentioned also about your full-time job, right? So regarding that, you mentioned also change management, that you work on strategies for companies and so forth. I mean, how does this experience supports you in your life as co-founder?
It supports me a lot, actually. So, first of all, the change management expertise for sure. So change is inevitable in any form of business environment. So as a founder and a leader, you'll need to navigate various changes, whether they involve shifts in strategy or organizational structure or technology adoption or so on. So that is one point. The other, I would say, is strategic implementation. So founding a firm involves developing a clear vision, of course, and implementing it effectively. So that's what I really can take out of my job. And employee engagement as well. So effective communication is key to engaging your employees and gaining their support. So as well as stakeholder management, for example, or crisis management. So you need to be very reactive to certain crises when they come up, to be very flexible. So yeah, I think that's the main part.
Yeah, I mean, you provide those thoughts like those are kind of simple things, but to be honest, I mean it's totally complex, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, it is. It's learning by doing. So you always need to jump on a topic and dig deeper and try to do it as good as you can.
I'm wondering, how did you come up with the idea for Occtopus?
So that was super important to me. And we came up with the idea to create a game which is addressing the topics of the society. And that was the point when we started to dig deeper, more into the topic of unconscious bias and of parenting and all the topics you need to address with that. And that was the point where we started our business.
Yeah, it sounds like it has been so far a real adventure, and not just in regards to founding Occtopus, but also when it comes to personal development. Am I not correct? So to be honest, what I hear out of it is that you not just learn a lot about topics you just mentioned, which are obviously quite important, right? But on the other side, also about yourself. How was that journey for you?
Totally. It's of course it still is a super important and super fun and super challenging development. So I think the learning curve is still enormous. So on the one side, of course, on a professional level, so I have learned how to set up a company, the legal as well, the economic aspects. I dig deeper into the topic of biases, as well as working with children, for example, and the process of developing an app, of course. So I'm now working in the technical field, which I would have never thought possible before, or rather, I never thought about it. And on a personal level, I had to be self-confident, of course. I always made myself smaller before, and I didn't want to tell people what I could do or what I wanted to achieve. And this is mainly a woman's problem, I guess. So we are used to stepping back. What else? I learned there's no success guarantee. You never know if something work out or will not work out. And maybe another thing is taking small steps. So you always want to have it all in one moment, but it's not possible. So big journeys begin with small steps. There's a saying of Bill Gates who said most people overestimate what they can do in 1 year and underestimate what they can do in 10 years. I think this is super important sentence.
Yeah, no, it's really a great quote and also inspiring. I just read a book that is called Grit. I don't know if you know that, by Angela Duckworth, and it's kind of saying the same thing. So that in the long run, when you take small steps, but step by step, and progressing on a continuously. When there's continuity in regards to progress and activity and commitment, I think this is a great shout out. But I'm wondering, why an app? Why not a game in a different context?
Yeah, we started with a physical game. So, or the idea was to create physical games. So we started with an ebook. So you still can download the ebook on our website, but we noticed that you need to get children engaged. So when you give them an ebook, there's no gamification aspect. So what you really need is for children to be a game to be fun and adventurous. And this is the most challenging part about the whole aspect, to, on the one side, to keep children engaged and parents. So what we do in our app is we want the parents being part of our game. So, and these are two totally different target groups. So children with the age from 4 to 11 and parents. So
it sounds complex, to be honest.
It is complex, to be honest. But I think this is one of the this is one of the most fun and most important aspects of educational work, to combine both visions of the world and both perspectives of the world to get an educational power, because other children by themselves they cannot educate themselves. It's almost impossible, I would say. So they need input, and for that we need the parents.
Yeah. Are they also playing a part as kind of a role model?
The parents, yes, of course. So children adapt everything. They perceive their environment in the kindergarten, in school, what the parents are saying, what the grandparents are saying. So they are highly responsive for how others behave or how others say or express things.
Yeah. So you're coming up with the beta phase in beginning of September. What is the goal? What do you want to achieve with the beta phase?
With the beta phase, we would like to achieve, first of all, we are looking for parents who would like to go on the journey with us, because we would love to get users' feedback and learn about the strengths and weaknesses of the app, of course. So during this MVP period, the usage of the app is free, and everybody who wants to join us is highly invited.
Link in the description below.
That is the goal of our MVP, that we can develop the games further and have in a couple of months have a final product which is already have the users' feedback in it.
Yeah. So now I have a challenge for you. Maybe it's not a challenge, so you have to tell me. But if you would, I mean, not if you would, but you need to put the purpose of Occtopus in one sentence, what sentence would it be?
The purpose of Occtopus is we would like to reduce unconscious bias in order or to get a better tomorrow. You need to. It's we would like to reduce unconscious bias for a better tomorrow.
Well put. So the pressure is on you now to deliver on that.
Yeah, I know. It's a very it's a huge goal. I know.
Yeah. So Occtopus is there for 1 year and 8 months plus minus. What is the future looking like for Occtopus?
The future, of course, it's a bright future. That's for sure. No, what we really would like to achieve is that a lot of parents jump on our journey to help us, because the MVP is not, it's living about the children's opinion, about the parents' opinion. So we need those feedback to work in the real world with the parents. We don't want to have a product which is not usable. So that's our goal for the next month and for the next years. Of course, it will be amazing if it gains more reputation and more and more feedback, that we can develop more mini games which are in the app of Occtopus. That's our goal.
Yeah. Got it. Thank you for that. So the future will be bright. Let's see what the feedback is. I mean, I assume you have the right perspective on feedback, that you take it as a gift and that you work on it and provide a better Occtopus coming out then. I'm wondering and I'm curious. So you mentioned it already a little bit, that you had the walk with Emre, the famous walk. But what is underneath that? So what was the motivation to found Occtopus?
I think it's intrinsic motivation, I would say.
But what is intrinsic motivation in that case? What was the intrinsic motivation for you to say, okay, I'm in it? Not just coming up with the idea, talking about society, but what was the moment? I had a conversation once with someone also here on feelingTERrific, and she mentioned something, unconscious motivators. And this is a layer underneath intrinsic motivation. So I'm curious, what is the trigger for your intrinsic motivation?
The trigger is, I think, let's put it like this. I think intrinsic motivation shaped my whole life. So I rarely followed the crowd or did something that didn't make sense to me. That started early in school or in my studies. And a lot of people told me, I studied cultural anthropology, by the way. So a lot of people told me by then, so what do you want to do with anthropology? Better study business or something else. And now this is something I can really make a difference with. I think I wouldn't have started my own startup without intrinsic motivation or with the motivation of creating my own business and creating my own purpose, because that's what it is all about. So what motivated me latest was a documentation of Arnold Schwarzenegger. He said to himself, when you can see it, it must be achievable. And this is exactly how I think we should work and how we should push ourselves, because dreams are not enough. You need to see it. And when we talked about the topic of unconscious bias, we talked about shaping minds and shaping of perception. And this was the point when I really could visualize, if we visualize a future where I very much stand behind it on the one side, and on the other side, I could visualize the product. During that time, it was in a physical way, but we developed it further to an app. But I think this is the explanation for an intrinsic motivation.
Yeah, and thank you for providing it. So you're also quite active on LinkedIn, right? And you also share what's happening around Occtopus, for example. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about the first pitch of Occtopus. How and when was it? Especially, how did you feel?
It was in May in the Ministry of Climate Protection and Economy. So we were invited of our partner organization Klischeefrei, which means in English, free from cliches. And they hosted a symposium where we were able to present Occtopus and take it to the ministry and present it. We were super grateful for this opportunity because it's so special. And when we got this opportunity, first of all, it was super wonderful to meet so many like-minded people. But most of all, I was so proud because Occtopus addresses exactly the points that Robert Habeck addressed in his speech, such as equality, parent-child relationships, and so more. And then it became particularly clear to me what political relevance the topic we serve has. And that was, it was a really thoughtful moment and thoughtful day about not about this society we are living in, but as well as the politics.
Yeah. Regarding the co-foundership, right? So most of the people I think can relate to the title or accountabilities of a founder. But what does co-founder mean? I mean, how do you divide the accountabilities and responsibilities, and how are you playing along?
To be honest, we understand each other pretty well. So fortunately, this is more than the case in our case, both professionally and personally. I think it's much easier to build up a business with a co-founder because you can split the tasks, as you just said. We don't have a exact. We didn't have an exact separation of our tasks, so we jump on the projects when we see an opportunity or when we see a task, and then we talk about it. So it's very much about talking and about timing, because we both have full-time jobs. So it's important to if somebody has more time than the other, that we of course need to address that timing. But there's no separation in the content.
Yeah, and as you just mentioned, I mean, having a full-time job and co-founding a company, I mean, objectively speaking, how is that possible? So how are you approaching the whole topic? Maybe also from a time perspective, but also from a mental perspective.
What do you mean by approaching by a mental perspective?
Yeah, so how are you making sure that you won't get a burnout, for example?
Yeah.
That you.
Yeah, I know the decision to start my own company while working a full-time job was of course driven by a desire for personal and professional growth and creating something with my own purpose. We decided to do it with our full-time job because, first of all, the idea and the company has to develop. So you have to see if it really works on the market. And of course, we're convinced of the idea. There's no question about it, but you need to test how it works on the market. And we wanted to build games slowly and in a scientifically correctly way. By doing this, we can still be self-financed and can build a company according to our own rules. It's a very sensitive topic. So the whole children and education topic. So you need to make sure addressing all stakeholders. Additionally, you have to grow into a role. You're not a managing director from one day to the other. It doesn't come natural. So of course, having a full-time job and growing a business is an ambitious endeavor that requires effective time management, and I would say a strong work ethic. So what we do is we devote our evenings, we devote our weekends to build and grow our business together. And I surely wouldn't have done it if I haven't been convinced of the idea of from the beginning. Open communication is a key about everything that is linked to the business. And of course, you need to set yourself boundaries when you have worked 50 or 60 hour work week, that you won't work the whole weekend through. So yeah, of course, spending time with loved ones, do the things you enjoy, take care of yourself, your health. So I try to do sports every second day, How's
it going?
Sometimes good, sometimes not good. But I think all those aspects are important to your life, that you can manage it. And that you can all manage it at all. It's not working all the time like you want to, but I do it, for example, with a priority list. So I set myself every week. I'm doing a list, writing, okay, this is priority 1, this is priority 2, and so on. And so I can structure my whole week. But of course, I need to remind myself all the time, especially if you have a lot of things on your to-do list, that without calm, there's no creativity in my point of view. And yeah, that is a learning I need to see for myself.
Yeah, no, this is a really great point. I think that calm is the basis for creativity. But maybe another question. So let's go back to intrinsic motivation again, right? What would you say? I mean, besides the purpose of Occtopus and besides the desire to build your purpose, but what would you say in general? Maybe also, what's the importance of intrinsic motivation in regards to founding a company? Is that something? Is that a must-have, or is that something nice to have, or can it make a difference from a good company to a great company, or what are your thoughts on that?
I don't think it's a must-have, but for me, I wouldn't have started the company without intrinsic motivation, because of course it's a side struggle, a side task you need to fulfill. And I wouldn't have done it just with financial motivation. But of course, you can start a business with a financial motivation, for example. So for us, that isn't the case. If it makes the difference from a good to or not good company, I can't. It depends where you want to set the focus on. When you say financial success is the goal, then I think you don't need intrinsic motivation. When you say, for me, for example, my self-fulfillment, but not only my self-fulfillment, but the greater good for the society is the greater goal, then of course you need it. So I think it's about where do you want to put the focus on?
Yeah, it's really interesting, because obviously it's a side project for now, right? But who knows what it might will become. So the thing is also that you will need to develop and to create first your own persona as a leader, but with that also leadership, right? Yeah. What do you think? What role does your intrinsic motivation plays as you develop those leadership skills?
Oh, that's a tough question. Yeah, like I just said, leadership skills or being a managing director doesn't come natural. So you need to learn to be in a leadership role. And I think what makes the difference for me being in this leadership role is that a lot of people love our project. They love Occtopus, and they want to work with us because they really want to help us or being part of creating of creating a better society. Like let's put it like this in a in a visual way. And so it's super easy for me to talk about our employees, to talk with our employees, about certain tasks, for example. And I think this is part of the intrinsic motivation, because we only work with people who have the same intrinsic, or not the same maybe, but a similar intrinsic motivation, like we do have. So it's pretty easy. But of course, what you can see, or what I can note is that the company is that it's our baby. I think leadership skills come with empathy, and with the motivation to develop or help your employees to develop themselves, and this by developing yourself. So this is it's a fun task.
How's it going?
Good. Actually, it's pretty good, but it's learning by doing.
Yeah. Maybe let's add on it with the last question from my side. So basically what we started is that the previous guest asked a question for the next one, and you can ask then create a question for the next guest. So the question from the previous one is, how do you want to use your current skill set to change the world for the better?
My current skill set, I think I'm a very okay, just give me a moment. There are three things I would like to address. So what I'm good in is creating. So I'm driven by the desire to create something new and original. So I enjoy coming up with new ideas and coming them to life, new strategies that haven't been there, new paths. I'm always eager to learn new things and making connections with people and think about how we can work together. The second is making a difference. So I'm, like we already talked about, a very purpose-driven person and motivated by the desire to change the world. And I believe that everyone has something to offer. And I would like to make my positive impact on the world and believe that everyone has the power to make the difference. In terms of achievement, that's the last one, but not the least. I'm motivated by the feeling of accomplishment that comes from achieving a goal. So I like to set goals for myself and then work hard to achieve them, but at the same time, I'm very flexible in adapting them. So this is a super important topic when you run a company, in my point of view. I can easily adapt a goal and rethink it. Besides that, I'm not a very competitive person. That is sometimes very good, but sometimes it's obstructive, especially when it comes to business. That is definitely something I had to learn in my career. But yes, I think this is the answer to the question.
Thank you for that. What do you want to ask the next guest?
Okay, you don't tell me who what the next guest is working on, or okay. Maybe I can use your question because I really like that one. Do you think if there is a difference in growing a company with intrinsic motivation or with financial motivation, is it going to be a better company with intrinsic motivation or without?
Ja, got it. Ja, ich schneide sowieso, aber egal. Nee, ich habe nur gerade überlegt, wie ich die gestellt habe, die Frage, ja. Nee, passt.
Oh, yeah, thank you first of all for having me. It was really fun to talk with you. Last words, famous last words.
No pressure.
Yeah, I would like to again call out to all the parents because we're looking we're looking for parents to jump on this journey with us and love to get users' feedback and learn about the strengths and weakness of our app. So if you're interested to join, let me know. And keep in mind, we can only solve the cognitive puzzle of the society together.
Thank you for that. Hope to see you soon one day.
Yeah. Thank you. See you soon.